Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have come here to Geneva today on behalf of more than 50 Czech members of parliament, friends of Israel, to express our great concern about the one-sided reports and resolutions targeted against Israel today. We are a nation in the heart of Europe. Our first president, Thomas Garrick Masaryk, visited Jerusalem in 1927 as the first head of Western states and met Jewish leaders to convey Czechoslovakia's support for the idea of a Jewish state. A quarter of century later, his son, Czech State Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Jan Masaryk, orchestrated a massive supply of Czech guns and ammunition, including the transport of the first military aircraft to support the Jewish nation in the days and hours of their utmost need. Ironically enough, it was done against UN resolution which imposed an embargo against all military supplies to the State of Israel. Jan Masaryk embodied the words of his famous and respected father. What are words for if there is not action behind them? Our first democratic president, after 40 years of communist darkness, Václav Havel, restored our diplomatic relationship with the State of Israel as one of the first acts of his presidency. All of these great men of the Czech nation understood how important it is for any nation to have a safe and secure space in which to live. This is especially important for the small nation living in Israel, which is mistreated so many countries around the world. And that is why I stand here now, ladies and gentlemen, because we are facing a new wave of anti-Semitism hidden behind the noble mask of human rights. Because we have to raise our voices and demand the right of Israel to be treated as an other nation. Because Israel is being portrayed as an outlaw by UN bodies who abuse their power and deny their own principles. Terrible bias can be found in all 7 reports which are being presented today at the United Nations Human Rights Council. These reports don't consider properly the role of Hamas and other terrorist militants in perpetrating attacks and violations of international law along the Gaza border. State-fueled and organized terrorism shouldn't be justified or defended on the basis of human rights. An investigation of human rights violations should be balanced, not one-sided. Israeli soldiers who are fulfilling their legitimate duty to protect Israeli citizens against daily Palestinian terrorism cannot be called to account in the International Criminal Court. Young men and women of Israel who serve in the army to protect their people shouldn't be afraid to travel around the world because of the risk to be arrested abroad. The UN must stop playing a shameful role in the dirty game called BDS, which in the end hurts both Israelis and Palestinians. Ladies and gentlemen, please be assured, and I have the mandate of the least of the quarter of the Czech Parliament, that the Czech Republic, a real friend of Israel, will not sit quietly and look to the ground when our friends are under fire by international institutions that are being abused. It's a time for UN to uphold the promise of its own chapter and to respect equal rights for all nations, including Israel. Thank you.